It's all about data privacy. It's all about digital ownership of your data. It's about accessibility, and it's about your sovereignty over your own value. Now, is this going to be an exciting future? We think so. What's up, Crypto Nation? Let's talk about Web3. Web3 is an area of technology and the internet that we as Stas Fund are going to be deeply and heavily invested in 2023 and beyond. One of the areas of Web3 that we're going to be focusing specifically in is the continuous yield and staking mechanisms, or DeFi, of the Web 3.0 world. Now, let's talk about this. What is Web3? Well, Web3 represents the next phase of the internet and perhaps organizing society. Web 1.0, as the story goes, was an era of decentralized open protocols in which most online activities involved navigating to individual static web pages. You guys remember those days. This was in the late 90s, and the internet was just starting to go mainstream. The Web 1 era was highly decentralized for a couple of reasons. Number one, low bandwidth infrastructure, up to 1 megabyte per second, precluded the heavy media internet as we now know today with 4K streaming platforms. Some of you guys remember the of those dial-up modems. Number two, underdeveloped infrastructure went hand in hand with simple coding practices. Everyone could learn HTML or copy a template to deploy to a website as they were built server-side, generating web content and database queries on servers. As a result, Web 1 was static, simple, and non-interactive, making it possible for everyone to create their own websites, blogs, news, forums, and yellow pages. I remember in Web 1.0, I spent a lot of time on Xanga, one of the first blogging systems before WordPress. Most internet content was centered around personal web pages hosted on ISP-provided servers, often for free. Web 2.0, which is what we're living in now, is the era of centralization, in which a huge share of communication and commerce takes place on closed platforms owned by a handful of super powerful corporations. Think Google, Facebook, Amazon. And these are subject to the nominal control of centralized government regulators. Over time, these telecom companies built broadband infrastructure above 10 megabytes per second and spurred entrepreneurs to develop new ventures that deepened the experience and the economics of the internet. In and around 2007 to 2009, ventures such as YouTube and Netflix scaled as they delivered stream content to the mass market. More complicated software stacks began to emerge as the internet demonstrated it was a new channel for television, radio, and publishing. These were what we called customized stacks. Alongside HTML, the Web 2 software stack included PHP, CSS, JavaScript, Ajax, HTML5, Java, Ruby, and other programming languages. In essence, Web 2 is the merger of the server-side, programs executed on the server, and the client-side, programs executed on the browser that you're running, programming with web browser languages as the starting point. We used in Web 2.0, we used web browser stacks like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. More advanced server-side and client-side stacks were PHP, JavaScript, Ruby, Python, and Java. Additionally, to scale up web development more easily and maintain large websites, server-side web frameworks emerged: Django, Ruby on Rails, Laravel, and other scripting libraries. Web 2.0 was predicated on raising capital and traditional managements of business, and at the end of the day, this meant centralization. Additional programming stacks made web content both labor and hosting intensive. Moreover, no individual or small business could pay for vast amounts of data and traffic delivered through video sharing and social media platforms. On top of that, the network effect took place. Even if someone could clone Twitter, the value of Twitter is not in its software, but in the number of people actually using it. Even former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey admitted as much. So let's move into the Web3 world. Web3 is supposed to break out of the world that is free of monopolistic control. At the most basic level, Web3 refers to decentralized online ecosystems based on the blockchain. Platforms and apps built on the Web3 won't be owned by a central gatekeeper, but rather by users who will earn their ownership stake by helping to develop and maintain those services. Gavin Wood coined the term Web3, originally Web 3.0, in about 2014, and at the time he was fresh off helping develop Ethereum, the cryptocurrency that is second only to Bitcoin in prominence and market size. But it was Bitcoin's blockchain technology that laid the groundwork for Web 3.0. After all, if money can be made both digital and decentralized, it is a layer that can easily be integrated into the internet. From file storage, IPFS, and video streaming live peer to monetization, smart contracts and chain data blocks are agnostic to which content is actually decentralized. In other words, Web3 mirrors Bitcoin. It is a permissionless, trustless, and decentralized way of generating content, distributing it, and owning it. So, let's talk about it. How does Web 3.0 actually work? Well, just as different programming stacks defined Web 1 and Web 2, a new software stack defines Web 3 to make decentralized internet actually happen. Web 3 is in many ways a continuation of Web 2 in terms of interactivity, but the bottom of the stack is a blockchain protocol. On top of the blockchain protocol are 4 layers that bind blockchain to the end user experience. Number 1, smart contracts are embedded into each data block because they chain together, and smart contracts are immutable, which is also what makes both NFTs and cryptocurrencies so valuable. Ethereum is a leading platform for deploying smart contracts written in Solidity. Other blockchains, such as Cardano, use Haskell. Number 2, Web3 libraries that link smart contracts to dApp interfaces like Ether.js, Web3.js, or Web3.py. Nodes as blockchains in decentralization cornerstones linking Web3 libraries to smart contracts, because instead of relying on a centralized cluster of servers, blockchain networks are dispersed among computer nodes. For example, Bitcoin has over 14,000 nodes, while IPFS, the interplanetary file system for decentralized storage, has over 200,000 nodes. Wallets that can connect to blockchain networks and individual dApps are in this Web 3.0 world. Wallets should not be considered as containers from a development standpoint. Instead, crypto wallets like MetaMask unlock access to blockchains and their dApps via private keys. With these Web3 layers in play, it is possible to replicate every existing Web 2.0 platform. They offer the same Web 2 functionality, but with decentralized monetization, fund and data ownership, and censorship-resistant content. The Web 3.0 technologies are very different in many ways to the Web 2 and Web 1, and there are many different paths to the future development of Web 3 that we could take. So let's talk about some of the ways that the Web 3 technologies are starting to be deployed today. Number 1, DeFi, or decentralized finance. One of the most intriguing sectors is DeFi, which is short for decentralized finance. DeFi claims to revolutionize the financial sector, removing the need for central authorities such as banks, payment processors, and other intermediaries. In their place would be a peer-to-peer financial system that lives on the blockchain. Advocates argue that this approach would reduce fees, boost transaction speeds, and allocate capital more efficiently. As with most Web3 applications, there would also be enhanced transparency, given all loan amounts, collateral, and other data are available for anyone to see on the publicly accessible blockchains. Importantly, for certain jurisdictions, accessibility is also enhanced. DeFi would be accessible to anyone with an internet connection without the need for paperwork or a third-party verification. Most of what banks and other financial intermediaries offer can be achieved through DeFi, and argue the proponents. This includes bank deposits, lending, borrowing, asset trading, and insurance, among others. A few other examples of popular DeFi protocols include Uniswap, Aave, and Chainlink, which are designed to carry out financial transactions. Another area is NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. This is a class of digital assets that live on the blockchain. You guys have well heard of these. Each NFT is unique or non-fungible, and no two NFTs are identical. This is in contrast to, say, dollars, which are fungible. $1 is exactly the same as any other dollar. Advocates see a wide variety of potential use cases for NFTs, but to date, the only widespread use has been for digital artworks. As the crypto market accelerated moonwards in 2021, multi-million-dollar sales of digital art NFTs were commonplace. But as the crypto winter set in 2020, the NFT market crashed. Professional investors and art world critics derided NFTs as little more than a speculative bubble. In many cases, they're not wrong. But the crypto world has not given up on NFTs, and Web3 proponents see them as a useful idea for verifying intellectual property, authenticating documents, and various crypto gaming features. Many traded cryptocurrencies support NFTs on their blockchains, and a few examples include obviously Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, to name a few. Now, Web3 is going to be a maturation of NFTs, and for us, we made our first NFT investments this year. So we're really excited to see how NFTs, especially around identity and access, are going to mature in 2023 and beyond. Number 3, DAOs, or decentralized autonomous organizations. Decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, may sound complicated, but the underlying concept is relatively simple. A DAO is a group formed for a common purpose with its rules, plans, and objectives all encoded on the blockchain. DAOs are controlled by their members, and proponents claim that a DAO has no hierarchy, no bureaucracy, and no red tape. Most commonly, they operate based on a democratic structure where votes are cast in connection to help many crypto token users and what they hold. What makes a DAO attractive to many users is that all the financial transactions are recorded on the blockchain, which eliminates any third-party involvement. Instead, the transactions go through an uneditable, transparent smart contracts, breaking away from traditional vertical company structures of executives, board of directors, and investors. A DAO allows all members to be involved and vote if any changes need to be made. Some believe that DAOs in particular could be chaotic. Without someone or something to control it, hate speech and misinformation, for example, could get worse because there won't be anyone to police it. Policies may be able to help sort out these types of things eventually, though. As we are maturing in this world of DAOs, we've learned a couple things. Now, even though DAOs reject the constraints of centralized control, they still need to adopt governance policies, including data governance. As DAO organizations operate entirely online, governing data effectively is critical for security, access, collaboration, and more. DAOs are built on work using digital information, and ensuring that this data is well managed using a dedicated tool should be at the top of the list when deciding on governance protocols. So, what's working so far in the Web 3.0 world? Well, most successful forays by traditional companies into Web3 have been ones that create communities or plug into existing ones. Considering the NBA, Top Shot was one of the first NFT projects from a legacy brand, and it offered fans the opportunity to buy and trade clips called moments, a LeBron James dunk, for example, that function like trading cards. It took off because it created a new kind of community space for fans, many of whom may already have been collecting basketball cards previously. Other front-runner brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour similarly added a digital layer to their existing collector communities. All three companies offer NFTs that can be used in the virtual world, for example, allowing an owner to gear up an avatar, or that confers rights to products or exclusive streetwear drops in the real world. Those streetwear drops, guys. Adidas sold 23 million worth of NFTs in less than a day and instantly created a resale market on OpenSea, just like you might see after a limited drop of new shoes. Similarly, Time Magazine launched an NFT project to build an online community that leverages the publication's deep history. It's probably mostly about fake news. And the Bored Ape Yacht Club is the biggest success story of an NFT project going mainstream. Combining hype and exclusivity, BayC offers access to real-life parties and online spaces, along with usage rights to the ape's image, further reinforcing the brand. As an ape NFT puts the owner in an exclusive club, both figuratively and literally. So some lessons from these efforts is that on-ramps matter, but less so the more committed the community is. Getting a crypto wallet isn't hard these days, but it is an added step. So Top Shot doesn't require one. Users can just plug in their credit card, which helped it acquire interesting users to the NFT world. The Bored Ape Yacht Club was a niche interest, but when it took off, it became a catalyst for people to create wallets and drove interest in OpenSea. Some companies have had rockier experiences with NFT projects and crypto features. For example, when Jason Citron, the CEO of Discord, a voice and video text communication service, teased a feature that could connect an app to crypto wallets, Discord users mutinied, leading him to clarify that the company had, quote, no current plans to launch the tie-in. The underwear brand MeUndies in the UK branch of the Wildlife Fund both quickly pulled the plug on NFT projects after a fierce backlash by customers furious about their sizable carbon footprint. Is that really true? Even if the success stories have hit bumps in the road, Nike is one of those that is currently fighting to have unauthorized NFTs destroyed, and OpenSea is full of knockoffs and imitators. Given that blockchain is immutable, this is raising a novel legal questions, and it isn't clear how companies will handle the issue. Further, there's recent evidence that the market for NFTs is stalling entirely. Companies who are considering stepping into this space should remember this. Web3 is polarizing, and there are no guarantees. Amid many points of disagreement, the chief divide is between people who believe that Web3 could be what Web3 could be, and critics who decry all of the kind of shenanigans that are happening right now. Can Web3 affect your life? We believe so, which is why we as Stas Fund are focused specifically in the Web3 plus world of 2023 and beyond. In our opinion, in your future, your data will be yours, and you can use it to create a better life. Companies collecting your personal data every time to buy something or search for something online could be a thing of the past. AI could work as your own personalized butler, creating personalized experiences for you using the data that you actually control. And you might be able to build customized games and environments using AI. In our conclusion here at Stas Fund, there is a lot that may come from Web3. There are some overall themes that are already emerging, like data, like digital identity, these types of things. And there is a huge pull away from big data with an emphasis on giving users more freedom, and security is already happening. While Web3 may seem exciting and a little bit daunting, it is important to remember that there won't be a big change right away. Over time, the internet as we know it will slowly evolve into a newer version, just like 1.0 evolved into 2.0. It will be easy for most to adapt, as earlier functionalities of the web will remain, and we may not even realize it's actually happening. As for when that will be, some experts predict it will take a minimum to 5 to 10 years out, which is why we here at Stas Fund are digging in right now. I hope this was a helpful overview of Web3 and the Web3 world. It's all about decentralization. It's all about data privacy. It's all about digital ownership of your data. It's about accessibility, and it's about your sovereignty over your own value. Now, is this going to be an exciting future? We think so, which is why we're investing heavily in 2023. Let me know in the comments below if I've missed anything. See you, Crypto Nation.